fighting for a democracy. Fighting for a democracy. And understand the difference here. Understand the difference here moving forward.
When they asked her about the gun.
Yes.
And she, yeah, I got a Glock. What kind?
Yes.
And her answer was, and
Yeah.
And Those were invented by nervous white people around black people.
Tyrus just put Kamala Harris in the hot seat. And let's be real, she's been warming it up for years with awkward speeches, nervous laughs, and answers that sound like riddles no one asked for. This isn't your average political jab. It's a heavyweight roast where Tyrus tears into her endless word salads, forced laughter, and those painfully staged inspirational moments. If you thought Kamala's speeches were confusing before, wait until you hear how Tyrus breaks them down. You'll never hear them the same way again.
And the VP Harris, she won't go to the border, probably because she'd rather take the magic school bus to the moon.
You guys are gonna see. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes. Oh my goodness. With your own eyes, I'm telling you, it is gonna be unbelievable.
With your own eyes.
Kamala Harris is living proof that you can fail upward so hard. You start breaking the laws of gravity. Forget Elon Musk and his rockets. She's the only person who's ever launched herself into the vice presidency powered solely by nervous laughs, tangled speeches, and a smile that practically says, yes, I practiced this in the mirror.
President Kamala Harris getting mocked and criticized once again after dishing out another one of her now notoriously scrambled responses, which her critics have taken to calling a word salad. The vice president was meeting with the Jamaican prime minister, for example, when she blurted this out.
For Jamaica, one of the issues that has been presented as an issue that is economic in the way of its impact has been the pandemic. So to that end, we are announcing today also that we will assist Jamaica in COVID.
If you are enjoying this takedown, please hit that subscribe button. It's as if America asked, what's the worst possible audition tape for leadership we could ever approve? And Kamala walked in with a resume straight out of a fever dream. Former prosecutor, part-time politician, and now, whatever this current role is supposed to be. The vice presidency might be symbolic, but she's turned it into full-blown performance art. Every time she speaks, it feels like the opening scene of a sitcom no network ever wanted to greenlight.
So, I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we...
And that laugh, dear God, the laugh. It's less confident stateswoman and more like a nervous teenager who just got caught cheating on a test but thinks awkward humor might save the day. She could be asked about a major global crisis and still respond with that same jittery chuckle you'd expect at a backyard barbecue when someone slips on the potato salad. Now picture a room full of world leaders and suddenly the soundtrack turns into a Joker audition reel. Kamala speaks like she's stuck in a never-ending job interview for a position she never read about. She strings words together like she's solving a riddle on the spot. Only she forgot she's the one who wrote it. Listening to her speeches feels like cracking open a fortune cookie written by ChatGPT running on 1% battery. You keep waiting for the sentence to make sense, but instead it drifts off into a full-blown TED Talk about absolutely nothing.
Do you regret not voicing your opinion in that moment?
Yes, and I actually have reflected on that, and I've written about that. you know, I realized.
Would it have mattered if you did?
I don't know.
And this is the person just one heartbeat away from the Oval Office. The idea was that she'd bring charisma, relatability, and inspiration to the ticket. Instead, we got Google Translate stuck on shuffle mode. Watching her try to motivate a crowd feels like someone accidentally hit play on a playlist titled Corporate Buzzwords 2008 edition. She tosses out words like moment, importance, together, future, and then, boom, a cackle. Speech over. But this isn't harmless awkwardness. It's incompetence dressed up in a pantsuit. Just look at her record. One moment, she's cracking down on truancy like it's a national security threat. Parents threatened with jail time because their kids missed class. The next, she's playing the cool aunt act, preaching fairness and empathy. That's not growth, that's rebranding. Kamala treats politics like a costume party where every outfit matches the latest poll.
I thought it was amazing that no one asked. You told the American people that President Biden was better than he ever was and you couldn't keep up with him. And then he gets pulled out of the race because he has dementia. So on the record, you are saying that a old man with dementia or whatever they want to call it, outworked you. And you were even the last person in the room. So why are you running for president again?
And then came the 2020 campaign. What a spectacle. She launched with all the fanfare, the rallies, the buzz of being the historic candidate. But then reality stepped in and voters collectively said, yeah, no thanks. Her presidential bid collapsed so fast you'd think it was powered by crypto. She didn't even make it to the primaries. One moment she was the next big thing, and the next she was a trivia question nobody could quite remember. But instead of fading into political history, she somehow landed the vice presidency. Because in Washington, failing spectacularly is apparently a qualification. Fast forward to today, and we've got a VP who's somehow both invisible and embarrassing. Her big assignment, the border crisis. Remember that? She was tasked with fixing it, and her plan seemed to involve doing everything except visiting the border itself. It's like naming someone a lifeguard and then watching them set up their chair 3 blocks from the pool. Instead, she flew to Central America and told people not to come, as if that would stop migration. Oh wow, the vice president said don't come. Guess we'll just stay in poverty and danger then. Brilliant.
Moving forward, she couldn't move forward from that sentence. My IQ moved backward.
Kamala Harris is basically that group project partner who does none of the work but insists on giving the presentation. She shows up late, adds nothing useful, then hogs the mic with a rambling speech that goes nowhere, and somehow laughs like she just nailed it. If politics had Yelp reviews, hers would read 2 stars. Showed up, didn't deliver, laughed a lot, would not recommend. Her approval ratings are lower than dial-up internet speeds. Whether it's that awkward cooking video, the staged photo ops, or her endless "we are in the moment of this moment" speeches, it all feels like satire. Honestly, if Saturday Night Live didn't already exist, Kamala might have inspired its creation. She's not connecting with voters. She's performing improv comedy without realizing it. And then there's her foreign policy. Sending Kamala to meet world leaders is like sending the class clown to negotiate with the principal. It's not intimidating, it's accidentally entertaining. Other nations must be wondering if America's pulling a prank. Is this real? Did you seriously send her as your representative? Imagine being a diplomat who trained for months, only to sit across from someone explaining global conflict like it's kindergarten story time.
There's worse things that you can say to people.
Yeah.
But I help people who harm people. God bless, good night, that's my time. That's what...
I think it's an excellent thing to acknowledge to a therapist.
Yes.
Here's the real kicker. Kamala Harris was supposed to be the future of the Democratic Party, the rising star, the trailblazer. Instead, she's turned into a cautionary tale of what happens when hype meets hard reality. She's the political equivalent of buying a flashy new gadget that breaks after one use. Shiny packaging, no substance. Yet somehow, she keeps floating upward, not because she's effective, not because people trust her, but because the system refuses to let her sink. If mediocrity had a patron saint, Kamala would already already be canonized. She's not breaking barriers, she's tripping over them, then laughing like that was the plan all along. At this point, her greatest achievement might be putting late-night comedy writers out of business. You don't need jokes when reality is this funny. Every clip of her talking plays like its own punchline. She's the first politician whose speeches need a laugh track, not because they're clever, but because without one, all you're left with is confusion. Kamala Harris is what happens when politics turns into performance art. When optics matter more than outcomes, she's the living definition of style over substance. Except the style is awkward and the substance is missing. America didn't elect a leader, it elected an open mic night experiment.
I don't think Kamala will ever hold public office again.
Better not.
I don't think you can come back from. It wasn't that she was outfoxed. It wasn't that she lost. I think you can certainly lose an election and run a good election and still have.
She might think she's building her brand for the future, but what she's really doing is securing her spot as the vice president people will joke about for decades. Forget Madam Vice President. History will remember her as the word salad queen, the woman who cackled her way into office and laughed every time responsibility knocked. Kamala Harris has become the kind of political figure who makes even her own supporters cringe, not because she's controversial or divisive, but because she's just plain awkward. It's like she's allergic to directness. She could describe water and still make it sound confusing, and just when you think she's finally about to land a point, there it is. That laugh. The high-pitched, nervous sitcom side character laugh. If presidential debates ever turned into open mic nights, Kamala wouldn't even need a microphone. She'd just walk on stage, giggle for 5 minutes straight, and call it a policy statement. That laugh is her shield, her punctuation mark, her emergency exit, but most of all, it's her tell. It says, I have no idea what I just said, and neither do you, so let's pretend it was funny.
She never saw the video.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not someone who describes a video.
Yeah.
That's someone that they handed this to her, and she was like, elephants? Oh, I'll take it from here. And then she went out there. And she was not drunk. She was hungover, because she's way worse when she's hungover. That was hungover because she kept saying the same thing over and over again.
Her defenders love to claim she's only criticized because she's a woman of color, but no, the issue isn't identity, it's that her political instincts resemble a malfunctioning GPS, always recalculating, never actually arriving anywhere. People don't cringe because she's a woman, they cringe because she's the human version of an awkward icebreaker. She once fought to keep people in prison for cheap labor, and voters didn't forget. During the debates, she tried to rebrand herself as a champion of justice, but her record kept surfacing like embarrassing Facebook photos from 2009. No one was buying it. Her campaign fell apart faster than a paper straw in soda, but it wasn't just her record that doomed her. It was her inability to connect. Kamala Harris speaks like she's addressing a room full of interns who are required to clap. There's no warmth, no sincerity, just carefully rehearsed lines that still manage to sound scrambled. You know it's bad when even her own staff reportedly struggled to explain what she stood for. Imagine working for a candidate and having to Google your boss's platform. That's Kamala.
They surrounded, and then they formed a circle, and then they got together. Go the away.
And somehow that was enough to land her the vice presidency. Not because she earned it, not because the people demanded it, but because the Democratic Party wanted a historic pick. And sure, it was historic, just not in the way they expected. Instead of becoming a beacon of leadership, she's turned into a walking reminder of how dangerous symbolism without substance can be. Think about her role on the world stage. The vice president often represents America abroad, but Kamala has turned that duty into a global comedy tour. Every clip of her overseas feels like an SNL skit. She'll stand beside serious leaders, nodding and smiling, then launch into a word salad that sounds like a group project presentation from someone who clearly didn't do the reading. Other leaders must go home asking, is this really the best America has to offer? It's embarrassing. Her big border solution, telling people not to come, as if migration could be solved with a friendly reminder. That's not leadership, that's customer service at Walmart. Even her attempts at relatability are hard to watch. The cooking video where she's chopping vegetables like she's auditioning for a Food Network blooper reel. Awkward. The stage photo ops where she tries to look natural, but ends up resembling a wax figure. Painful. She has the charisma of an AI-generated influencer who blinks about twice a minute.
So powerful at the convention when you said you have guns. No, at the debate. At the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun owner.
I did not know that.
If
And I thought
somebody
that was
breaks in
powerful.
my house, they're getting shot.
Yes. I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal with that later.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the first time I've ever seen Oprah Winfrey stutter.
Yeah.
She was like, what she wanted to say, remember that stupid you said at the, was it the debate or was it the DNC that they drew me out and Stedman's pissed, he was double parked waiting for this. Like she literally said nothing. She's like, if Oprah can't save you, nobody can save you.
Her approval ratings say it all. They're not low because she's being unfairly targeted. They're low because nobody's buying what she's selling. Her numbers live permanently in the basement. And when pollsters ask people how they feel about her, the most common response might as well be meh. That's the real problem. She doesn't inspire love or hate. She inspires apathy. And apathy is political death. Her speeches are practically their own genre of comedy. Each one is a masterclass in saying absolutely nothing with maximum enthusiasm. She'll circle the same words over and over like she's casting a spell, and by the end, nobody remembers the question. This is someone who couldn't survive the 2020 primaries, can't break 40% approval, and still struggles to finish a sentence without veering into nonsense, yet she's somehow next in line. That's not meritocracy, that's desperation. Kamala Harris is the political equivalent of a participation trophy. She didn't win, she was just there. She didn't inspire, she was just available. She didn't lead, she just laughed. Her rise isn't a story of talent or vision. It's a story of box checking, optics over outcomes, and hype over substance.
You know what happened, Greg? The teleprompter went up and they cheered too long.
Yeah.
And she panicked because all she couldn't remember the connection word. So she panicked. This ain't close, I'm telling you.
And in a strange way, that's what makes her the perfect symbol of modern politics. Because Kamala Harris isn't the exception, she's the blueprint. Today's politicians aren't rewarded for competence, they're rewarded for image. And Kamala is all image. Unfortunately for her, that image isn't leader of the free world. It's more like a confused camp counselor trying to fill time before the bus shows up. She set out to make history, and she did. Just not in the way she hoped. Instead of becoming a trailblazer, she became the punchline. And maybe that's fitting, because sometimes history doesn't crown you the hero. It crowns you the example. Kamala Harris will go down as the case study in how not to lead, how not to inspire, and how not to connect. She wanted to be the moment, instead she became the meme.